It was Brighton.
Funeral, mate.
It's tough, isn't it? It is really tough in terms of digesting it and the result that has on ultimately our end of the season and the way that result is going to affect where we possibly end up. But it did finish 1-1. I thought we were actually quite fortunate in the end to even get a goal back. It was a very good goal from side Benrahma, but it sours it in terms of the way that it was achieved just us being clinical, Dan, in that final third. We've had this problem for the majority of the season. It let up probably over the past month or so when we started scoring 3 goals, and it sort of crept back in again. Just give me your immediate thoughts and we'll bounce off one another and we'll get into the goals and some of the performances.
Ultimately, not clinical enough, mate. That's it. That's the nail on the head in this game. 15 shots, 3 on target. We're only 4 shots on target in our last 2 games. It's not, if you want to finish in the Champions League places, it's not good enough, mate. To end it all, I don't think there was enough urgency today. It was very lackadaisical, similar to the Everton game. I don't know what you think, mate, but they started better in the first 15 minutes of both halves. We never really got going. And for me, our impetus and change of intensity came when we went 1-0 down, and it's too late. So, I hate Brighton as well. I hate playing against them because we never make it easy. But we weren't good enough today. We weren't good enough. To be honest, I didn't think we deserved a point, but we'll take it. So,
we've got to take small mercies. I think you're right. We were slow. At times, it was very pedestrian in terms of that build-up play, and it is really frustrating to see. I think, generally speaking, if you try and put some context on it, we have improved with the ball, but just that intensity of the passing, we only really started to get at Brighton possibly the last 10, 15 minutes of that half. Other than that, and what really frustrated me as well, by the way, is Brighton allowed us to have a bit of width, and we never used it. We never made those right decisions. We constantly were just trying to keep hold of the ball, keep it until they made a mistake. And I said to you in the pre-match, Brighton will get back in that shape really quickly, and we allowed them to do it multiple times, and we couldn't break them down.
I was too comfortable for them, too comfortable on the ball as well. There wasn't enough. I don't know what you think, mate. There wasn't enough pressing. Like that comment says, they were tired tonight. Our squad was stretched to the max. And I think the season's caught up with them. They've performed so well that they're just knackered, understandably. But even on the ball, mate, where Bissouma, like the simple 1-2s that our players were just getting nowhere near, it was, there wasn't enough urgency on and off the ball, like you say. But, it played into their hands. They were comfortable. I thought Dan Burn was their best player. Bissouma had a good game as well. Jared Bowen was quiet as well. Very quiet game from him. Didn't really impact it. So.
It was. I personally didn't like the way that we tried to set up against Brighton. I didn't think that was the way that we were going to go about it. And again, I suppose when you first see the lineup and you see the way that we're trying to play, you think maybe we
in it though.
It is our strongest 11. I completely agree. But in terms of I just felt if we'd been if you were going to press. And there was sort of an initiating of a press from the front. And then again, it felt very easy. Brighton were bypassing it so easily. And they kept it in the ball. And they were able to just get through our midfield and then get through our defence. And it just felt there was a little bit of naivety there. And that was the bit that frustrated me. If you're going to go and you need the 3 points against Brighton, you press us aside, you play your high line, you squeeze them. And we didn't really do that. It was pedestrian passing. I mean, I know Declan. For me, Declan had a really decent performance. He come back in and we know his class. But in terms of our attacking players and our approach play, it isn't good enough when teams sit in the shape. It's not. It has to be quicker. It's got to be with more tempo. We have to offer more questions because irrespective of the magnitude and Europa League and things like that, next season we've got to start asking more questions because teams will suss us out and say we'll sit behind the ball, soak it up, and inevitably they will go and make a mistake at some point.
That's it, yeah. The effectiveness. Antonio today, very effective, but not good enough with his decision making in the final third. I think that was repeated throughout. To be honest, I thought Lingard was quiet again. I don't know what you think, mate. I thought he gave the ball away. He was quite wasteful. This dip in form is natural for him because he started so well. He sort of, the goal contributions, but I don't know. Maybe if he's tired or what.
The difference between Anthony's put it on bang on the head. Actually, our press was poor. We didn't commit to it. I completely agree, and that's why it became really frustrating towards the end of the game when we did actually fatigue and we couldn't press anyway. The Lingard thing, I think there has been slight errors in terms of his play or sloppiness. But the thing when we first come into the club, he's playing with Mikel Antonio. He's making the run in beyond. There are things that he's doing in that final third to affect. Now, every time I see him play, he's coming deep to pick up the ball. I don't want Lingard, sitting in a deep line position. And I thought having Declan Rice back in his side would mean that Lingard would be pushed further forward. And it hasn't done that. And that's been the problem. He needs to be getting in and around those half spaces, picking the ball up and being productive with it. And when he's deep, he can't do anything. So
I think that's
where the different forms come.
I think that's his game, though. I think he likes to naturally drop deep, dictate the play. I don't think that's a drop deep and get it. I think that's him. That's his decision.
But I don't like that. For me, I think in terms of everything that we've seen of him, how good he was when he first joined us.
Yeah.
You want him getting in beyond. And I think if I can pick any positive, and there really aren't too many, if I'm honest, the last 10, 15 minutes, we started to pose a bit more questions in terms of Fornals getting into central areas, Lingard trying to play those passes. But I'm sick and tired of seeing us try and switch it from side to side slowly. Against the side with wing backs and a back five at times, it will not work. It just doesn't work. So you're going to have to come up with something else.
Yeah, no, exactly. It just wasn't. We just weren't at it today, mate. Just weren't at it. And, this is in our own hands and 3 defeats from our last 5 games. It's not, and I'm being negative, but it's true. We have bowled it, really, And if you want to get in European places and you can't beat Brighton, it's there for the taking, mate. That's the thing. The game is there for the taking. They're on the beach. They were not that good. I know they play good possession-based football, but they were very slow on the ball. They didn't really have, like the commentary alluded to. There weren't really any desire from them going forward. They were just happy to keep it, play for the point. Then they hit the goal. Obviously, it was we'll touch on that later because for me it's poor defending again. But
yeah.
It's there for the taking, but we just don't have enough depth on the bench either, apart from Benrahma, to come on and make a difference. So
yeah. Exactly. That's the problem, particularly towards that stages of games where naturally your players fatigue and you're looking at an option off the bench. And I know Benrahma got a good goal, and I know I've been a big supporter. But other than that, other than a decent cross into the box for Dawson and that goal, there was nothing in terms of affecting play. Our players didn't really do enough. And I think at times when you're trying to chase a lead, having an additional striker on the bench to bring into a centre forward role is where the difference will be made. And when you can't make that decision, it's comfortable. It does annoy me from that perspective. I think defensively as well, we were very easy to play through. I knew Brighton would push on their centre.
Yeah.
I knew Brighton would play on their centre backs. They would push them forward. I knew that Pascal Gross at times making that third man run, picking it up. It was so easy for them. It was so easy, and it's naivety in that. I don't know whether is it fatigue, is it naivety? I'm not too sure. I don't see how you can be complacent in a game like this when it really matters. It has to be fatigue, surely.
I just think they're our bogey team as well, mate.
Yeah.
Bolton of old, where we couldn't beat Bolton every home and away. It's a bit like that, mate. I don't know what it is. Is it a mentality thing? But you alluded to Benrahma before. The good thing about Saeed when he comes on in these games is he's a risk taker. He's not afraid to take risks. For me, it's too laboured. It's too, we'll play it safe. We'll try and get it out wide and stuff. It's too laboured. It's too slow. Benrahma thinks, right, I'll get a crossing. I'll surprise Brighton. And that's what he did when he came on. Dawson should have scored that header. Should have got it on target.
I felt the same. I thought it was a really good chance.
He's got to score that. Yeah, he's got to score that for me.
But again, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It was when we were breaking as well. We were breaking with 1 or 2. I said to you before the game, if you're going to break with your attacking midfielders, break us a 4. Give them options. Give them something to think about. When you're breaking with just Antonio or Lingard or Antonio or Fornals, it's easy to defend against. It becomes, and you naturally have to slow up the play because you're not going to lose it and put a cross into no man's land. So it's just an approach play.
That's the thing with Antonio, is that he is so effective, and as good as a player as he is, he was very wasteful tonight in terms of he was shooting from the edge of the box. The geezer never scored inside the box, mate. I think I picked up 3 times where he was in a great position. He caused a lot of havoc tonight, Antonio. I thought he played well, but his decision-making, taking them shots wayward, it's just... And when Lingard's in a good good position as well. It's infuriating, and I don't know if we wanted it too much. They were trying too hard, but it's just annoying, mate. To be honest. But
maybe it's personnel. I mean, I know it's harsh. Every time we get to that final third, they're and maybe I know I've said to you we weren't playing with full players. I think there was a time where we've broken and there's an easy pass in. I think maybe Mickey's on there and there's a player on the maybe Souček on the left hand side. I'm thinking we never get our head up in those moments. We've got the overload. We're in transition. We've got the pace on some of these defenders, and we never make the right choice. And it's like, and I know. Listen, Fornals, he's had a lot of chances tonight. He really, really has.
Yeah.
But there's a multitude of things I think in our attacking play that we need to resolve. Because I'm telling you now, Dan, people will look at this and look at us next season and suss us out. They couldn't suss us out before. We were so difficult. We played wing backs, then we changed it, played 4-2, then we played Mikkel and these players are so difficult to play against because they work so well in space. Teams will just sit there and go, West Ham will make a mistake. They will be desperate for the points. And like you saw for Brighton's goal, bit of space, high line, an attacking midfielder in there, they won't be able to deal with it. It was too easy to play through us. It shouldn't be like that.
It was one pass, wasn't it? It was one pass from, was it Percy Tau?
Yeah,
straight
it's too easy.
The run was far too easy. Fabianski, I didn't think had a great game either, to be honest with you. Especially when, was it Johanbach as well? Who, he came out for that and he nearly scored. So
yeah.
There's a lot, mate. Yeah, like you said, it's for me as well. My concern is the adaptability to games, like the adaptability to play Everton instead of differently to Brighton. How do we do that? How do we make teams guessing? Look at Leicester today, mate. I don't know if you watched it or the viewers did, but how well they, their game management of that game. They knew they weren't going to get a lot of the ball. They soaked it up. Tielemans with an absolute worldie. Fair play to him, but that's what top teams do for me, is how well they adapt to different games. And I'm a bit concerned. We've done it this season, but like you said, I think we're very one-dimensional. And next season, if we don't improve our, I don't know, do you know what I mean? Our adaptability to games and handling them differently and taking more risks in a game like this, I think will be easy to play against. I think teams will suss us out. So
I think that
we're having more options on the bench and in the squad. So,
yeah, 100. I agree. It's when something isn't working, can you come up with a different solution? Do you know what I mean? It's very, this isn't working. And I watched it and I could see some sort of things that West Ham were trying to do. And I'm not saying we weren't trying, because I do believe we were. But you've got to, there has to be an unpredictability towards things to try and break down a team. And there has to be a pace to it. If you can't be unpredictable, you can't work into space, you've got to just keep moving it quick. And someone will step out and make a mistake. And for me, when everything just comes down to transition all the time, Brighton has switched onto it. They're an intelligent side. They slot into the right positions and they sit back and they can. And people will probably argue they defended decent tonight, but that's because West Ham at times allowed them to do it. And that's not what. And equally, at times we're throwing our fullbacks forward and we're rinsed, and we've got two defenders just sitting there on their own. And it's the difference with Leicester, and the way I looked at Leicester, particularly against Chelsea, different type of game and different players. When Chelsea have got the ball, they press at the right times from the front. And the minute they lose it, it's straight back into shape. That's what West Ham, for me, don't have. We either sit as a team and then we attack, or we press and we're naive. We're not getting that balance that I think you need. And hopefully we get it next season. But I know we're growing as a team and we are improving as a team. And I'm happy with what I've seen this season. But it's Brighton. Let's be honest, it is Brighton away. You should be winning. You should be winning it. I know they're a bogey side, but the type of game that it is, you've got to be coming away with 3 points.
We've got enough there as well to cause them issues. I think we have better attacking players. They were missing Dunk, Maupay as well. Their team tonight was weak. No disrespect to Brighton, it was weak in areas. They had Pascal Gross at right wing back, not a natural right wing back. He's a centre mid, isn't he? As we know, and you can batch in there as well, who I thought played okay, to be fair. Is it Jacob Moder? Yeah. Doesn't play a lot. So they had a few key personnel missing. It was really the best time to beat them tonight, but we didn't take advantage, and we got what we deserved, to be honest.
Yeah, it does feel like that a little bit. We'll talk about, we kind of half touched on it, but we've got to talk about Brighton's goal.
Oh, shocking, man.
It's not even. it's not even the run from Welbeck, because I thought Welbeck threatened in that first half. He did exactly the same on Dawson, and I said, it's not. I'm not giving you something anyone that you don't already know. Welbeck has got good movement. He's an intelligent player, and he's a decent player as well. Yeah. But the fact that I'm not sure who picked it up in that kind of 10 space, but some Brighton player picks it up with all the time in the world to pick the pass. That's the frustration, Percy Tau. That's the frustration for me, because you can't. Just a level of naivety. I know we're chasing the game, but you don't lose your head. If West Ham go and Benrahma gets that goal, we nick it 1-0. But then I kind of feel the only reason we did get that goal is because we switched on the minute we went 1-0 down and we had to play with a bit of urgency. But frustrating, mate, in terms of how we're getting played in behind at times, looking a little bit disorganised, not sure how we're playing this line.
Yeah, no, that's it. They looked. I think, to be fair, mate, they looked more threatening. I thought in the back of my head they're going to nick it here, and one goal will do it for them, because we've got a lot of good attacking players, but today they weren't on it. The final ball was lacking, and like you said, that I don't know, it was a big gap between the defensive line and the midfield pivot for me. It was all the time in the world to pick it out. Good pass, but for me the run is. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good run. It is a good run because he caused us issues all day. And like we alluded to on the preview show, mate, Welbeck's movement is very good. It always has been. But I think it's too easy. I think it's one simple ball that we've got to deal with better. I'm not sure about Fabianski's positioning either. It's a good finish, but...
I'm not sure about that either. I don't know about you. He came flying out. He came flying.
He did, and it's a good finish, confident finish. But could Fab have done more? I'm not sure. I need to watch it back again. But
I think he's gambled, isn't he? I think because Welbeck took it so quickly, he thought, if I can get out here, I'm going to squash his chance. But I mean, for me, Welbeck, when he gets into those type of positions, he's got that dink in his locker, isn't he? He does. He's ice cool in front of goal.
He is. He always has been. Yeah, he always has been. Good striker, to be honest. Just injuries have got the better of him, but he's when he's on it, Welbeck, he's a good player. Comment there as well, mate, alluding to it. Anthony said there was no communication between Kufal and Dawson, which on the replay, to be honest, it didn't look like there was a lot of it. It was very. I don't know.
It's tough. We need to watch it back. It's just at the time, it's just frustration, and it feels like the whole defence is culpable for not taking responsibility of that run or no one seeing it. It's just, it can't be that easy to play through. If West Ham want to be expansive, right? If we want to play a little bit of a higher line, you can't allow someone just to play through you with one pass.
It was the same as Everton, though, wasn't it? It was from the back. It was similar.
Exactly the same. But that's my problem, Dan. Like, particularly for the first few months of the season, when we sat back and we were very much a counter-attack, we were very comfortable, we were organised. The minute now we're trying to play on the front foot, we can't do it. We can't break down sides, but equally we can't defend right. And the balance isn't there. And that's the frustrating thing. There are the huge arguments for personnel, of course they are. There might be arguments for Moyes in terms of how he's setting up, but when we are on the front foot, when we do have possession, there's something not quite clicking for me. We're a little bit too vulnerable.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Benrahma, I criticise him a lot, sometimes harshly, but that's what he'll do, mate. He'll pick the ball up. He'll try and find bloody hell, I'm losing my words, mate. He'll find that passing behind. For me, we didn't do that enough tonight. I don't think we got him behind enough as we could have done. We were way on the contacts. We got into good positions, but you look at their goal, you look at Welbeck's movement throughout that game, always trying to get him behind, getting them areas, always on the shoulder of the defenders. Antonio does that as well, but that's the difference between a natural finisher and not a natural finisher.
Yeah, and I think there's that kind of, we touched on the disconnect in playing a bit further up, because as much as he saves us sometimes in games, Mickey, where he comes to the left-hand side or he comes deep and picks it up. I saw at times in that first half, he's on the left-hand side, basically in the left-back position. Now, as much as I understand the whole premise of it, I know there's that kind of flexibility, people moving into position. You need him in the box, on the shoulder. Like, he can't... I'm not saying loft balls into the box because it wouldn't work against those centre-backs, but just varying it, playing it across the floor, getting drag-backs in there. Antonio, as poor as his decision-making can be and as poor as his finishing is from outside the box, generally inside the box, he's got decent enough movement. So get him there. Don't get him in a deeper position.
That's it. That's where his joy comes from. If I was Moyes, I'd say to him tonight, right, get on the shoulder of Adam Webster because he'll struggle. Because I don't think he's the best defender. He struggled when I've seen him. So I'd be saying to him, get on the shoulder of him, get in between him and Ben White. Ignore Dan Burn's side because he's very physical and he likes them aerial duels. But loft it over towards him that way, get him behind, and you'll have joy. At times he did that, but not enough. Like you said, he was on the left. I think Bowen fielding at times, when he wasn't out of position, and it was just all a bit. I don't know. It was just. Listen, I'm not criticising Mickey. I just think he could have been better with his decision making today. All the players could have. It's the same for the Everton game, but it's the wrong time of the season to do it. The wheels are falling off at the wrong time against teams that we should be beating as well on paper.
That's the thing. If we get a draw, like we did get a draw against Brighton in Christmas time, we're going, do you know what? It was an awful performance. And it might be one of the worst performances I've seen from West Ham this season in terms of how dull we were and conservative we were.
It was worse, yeah.
But we still get the point. The fact that we've got the point now rather than the 3 points when we've needed it is the frustrating element. If we're going to try and put a spin on it, Side did get his first goal for West Ham.
Finally,
we're going out tonight. Only been waiting for, would he sign in September? That's been a few months. I think it does him a world of good, if I'm honest. And I actually think, I'm not saying it's a hopeful shot by any, because I've seen the replay and the way it's got bend out, it's going out and it's bend back in and off the post. It's fantastic. I actually think in a lot of games, Benrahma is thinking too much in terms of, I've got to make this type of shot or the decision. It got to that point of the game where he's cut it back. It's sort of laid to him perfectly. And he's probably thought, I've got to hit this right because we need this goal badly. And that kind of mix between the two has benefited him. But I'm happy for him. I am happy for him, but I'm obviously massively disappointed it wasn't the winner because the equaliser against Brighton, the circumstances it's a bit dull.
It was a fitting goal for a winning goal, wasn't it? Great strike. That's what annoys me, mate. He's got that in his locker. He's always had that in his locker. It's just like his mentality. It's when he shoots at the right time. But the dippage on that and the curl and everything, it's not a fluke. It's a good goal. And he done that at Brentford as well. He's done it a lot. I remember that goal against, was it Derby away for Brentford, where he cut inside and curled it. So he's got that in abundance, but it's showing it now on a consistent basis for me. Yes, that goal will give him a heads up, but do it more. Do it the next game. It can't be a one-off, really. That's what I want to see more from Said. That cross as well, superb cross. That's what I want to see more of, rather than taking an extra touch, getting shoved off the ball because he's a bit lightweight sometimes. When he gets that space, show your quality rather than take an extra touch. Because he's got it in his locker. And tonight, he really impressed me. He created a chance. I think one shot on target, one goal. His final third passes were good. He was confident, and he wanted to make an impact. So I'm happy for him. It took him a while though.
It did take him a while, and he is inconsistent, and it's a shame that it's come in the type of game that it has come. But I think he shows us the quality, and I think we missed that. I know Fornals, I think we touched on before we went live. I think generally he's improving his overall play in front of goal. He's incredibly wasteful. Antonio feels like, I know he got 2 goals against Burnley previous, but he's still very much the same. And Benrahma has that bit of quality on the edge of the box where he can get it on target. And we've been waiting for that for so long, and he's finally put it on target and scored. And listen, I think it's a shame from the fact that if that was just the winning goal and we played like the way we played, we just put it in the bin and we forget about it, because quite frankly, at this end of the season, you just need the 3 points.
Yeah.
But it's the manner of the performance. It's the lack of ideas. And I think that there is an argument for physical fatigue. I think there's mental fatigue on this side, Dan. I think they've got to this point where they're running out of ideas. They've played hard all season, and it's trying to get over the line for them now is becoming a little bit difficult.
Do you think the pressure of the top 4 and all the talk around the top 4 for West Ham is getting the better of the players because they've not been in this position before?
It's tough to say. Like we've not been clinical all season, other than that kind of purple patch that we've had recently. These are existing issues that have happened. Possibly, but I think that's probably being generous to the level of the performance. Irrespective of whether they felt that they were in the top 4 or the pressure of that, we turned up against Leicester. I know we bottled it against Arsenal, but we still got the 3 goals there. We beat Wolves without Declan Rice and playing Mark Noble. We have shown fortitude It's just
How many points are these, mate? How many points have we dropped now? 2 against what? How many against Brighton? 4 against Brighton. 2
oh
against.
yeah. I mean, in these last couple of games, it has been frustrating. I don't think it's helped. The Newcastle game's the outlier for me in the manner of it. I think if Declan plays, it doesn't happen.
That was the turning point, mate. Sorry to interject. That was the turning point, that Newcastle game. After that, we haven't looked the same. I don't know what it is. I think that was just a turning point in terms of confidence, and it's really hit them hard.
I think what it is if you have games like that where you aren't able to, because we struggled to break down Newcastle just with the personnel that we had and the formation that we played. There's a bit, we need to do it, and there's that frustration, and you start snatching at chances. Maybe that is what it is. You look at the Everton game. We basically had 2 chances, 2 clear-cut chances. Benny with the header, and other than that,
really.
And other than that, there's nothing. I think they're panicking. The thing that I would like this 11 to remember is we do create chances. We are making the spaces, but we're just not making the right decisions. I think it's mentality, and I also think as well that the type of teams that we're playing, we struggle against naturally. And if this is earlier in the season and we get a point against Brighton, we forget about it. If we lose against Newcastle in the old game, we go really disappointing, but we try and move on. It's the timing. The timing is horrific. I've got to be honest. Any other time of the season, we kind of skirt over it, but it could be playing on the players' minds definitely now.
I think so. I think they've had a long season, performed very well. A dip was natural, mate. We didn't expect to win all these games, win every game. The Premier League's very unpredictable. Same with football, isn't it? You're not guaranteed a win every week. But like you said, the time is just horrific. These drop points as well. A lot of, I can think of 9-10 points that we could have easily gained across this season, and we'd be finishing.
No, that's the problem, Dan. Though you get to this level, you get to this point, and you start thinking, if we'd beaten Newcastle when we felt we should have done, if we hadn't dropped points against Arsenal, where would we be? And that was always gonna bite us, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Once you start losing and the form dips a little bit, then you're gonna naturally look back and think. I think squad depth. If I'm perfectly honest, I just think the variability of the players we can bring on hasn't helped. The inability to rotate is. Listen, it's not a luxury for Premier League clubs, but you even look at Newcastle to a degree with some of the players that they can bring on. We can't bring on a striker, can't bring on a left back. It's tough. It's tough to give these players rest.
Well, this is why, in hindsight, I think Liverpool and Spurs will finish above us, because they've got players to call on to bring on.
Well, they'll smell blood, won't they? They'll smell blood after this result and think we're going to see this one out.
Yeah, exactly. Liverpool have started firing at the right time. Tottenham, I'm not sure. I'd like to think we still finish above them, not just for rivalry reasons, but also because they've just taken the foot off the gas for a long time, and they just don't look at it. But yeah, the squad depth is a massive contributing factor for West Ham. It's huge. Look at Tottenham's depth. They've got Vinicius, they've got Bergwijn. Liverpool have got Mane on the bench, other players, James Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain. They've got a lot of options there. Yeah. I'm not saying West Ham to go out and get these players, because there's a difference. The Liverpool are a huge club. They've got a lot of money behind them. So West Ham, but Liverpool got more money. So it's more, in the summer, we need to rectify these issues, especially if we get Europa League as well. It's massive that they invest in the right position. Otherwise,
I think I've got to be honest, Dan. I think even take Europa League out of it, I think Premier League. We're not built for a full 38-game Premier League campaign to the level that we want to play. Fair play to these players and David Moyes. They've shown the level that we can play to this season. But if we go into next season with any less than 4, 5, 6 signings, to be honest, we are going to come over exactly the same problem. Exactly more. We need loads more. I'm talking in terms of at least like minimum. But maximum, you're looking 8, 9. And we're talking quality players as well, not just getting in free transfers and loan deals, proper decent players where we can start to build a bit of a squad. Because, I know this season's a bit of an anomaly. We've done well. We've got to put some kind of context on it. But at the same time, next season, we want to be competing top half. And to compete top half again, we've got to go again. Like all the other clubs around us will go again.
Exactly. And, I hate to be so pessimistic, because I feel like we've been very pessimistic on this. But look at Wolves. Look at Wolves this season. Look at Wolves last season. They played about, I think, 50 plus games, Europe and Premier League. I think the first season they obviously did very well. That's when they qualified. But they didn't really invest that well. They brought in a few players, but it wasn't enough. And this season they've tailed off massively. They've been way off it. And is that worth it? You think if we don't invest in these key areas and bring good players in, I'm not talking average players who will fill a hole. I'm talking good players who progress this football club. Like Leicester, look at their signings. Look at Fofana today, how good he was. Superb. Yeah. Tielemans as well, and Didi. Luke Thomas is a good player. You know, it's smart signings, but also the right ones for West Ham. And if you don't make them, you're going to struggle in the Premier League for me next season, maybe. But yeah, this summer's massive, mate. You know, it's huge, and now is the time to progress this football club forwards. And just look at how Leicester have done it. You know.
Yeah. It's just frustrating. I mean, we always kind of felt that the wheels would slowly come off at some point, but we just felt that because of the way that this squad has been, how motivated we've been, how we've come back from certain results, that we could get over the line. And it's just, like I say, the timing and the inevitability of it. And there's part of me that does feel that if you'd kept Declan in some of those type of games, you could have seen them out. It's a shame for him because I think like I say earlier, he had a decent performance tonight, like we expected from him. But he's looking around and thinking, I do worry slightly about. I'm not saying he'll leave, of course I'm not. But Declan, Souček, players like Jesse Lingard. I know he's had a dip in form. If we don't get European football, does another European club look at some of these players and think, do you know what, I might come in for them? I've seen that they can do it, relatively speaking, for a whole season. Why not? And that's my only concern. Then that's where the issue will lie, because I thought if we still could, by the way. I know I'm talking like it's over. It's not over.
Yeah, we still could.
But I'm just saying, if we didn't and the worst case happened, I wonder how these players would feel, because they've basically put themselves on a platform. Premier League clubs have seen them and thought, you know what, I fancy them at my club. Then we're in a problem where actually some of our key players are being torn away from a squad that's done so well.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. It's there's a lot riding on it these last two games. There's a lot, West Brom isn't going to be easy. We'll talk about it next week, I'm sure. But and then
Tuesday. We'll be back on Tuesday. That'll be a quick turnaround, won't it?
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah. So yeah, this summer is big. Tonight we didn't deserve much. It's disappointing, but we got to think as well how far we've come this season. We were relegation fodder last year. Now we're top six. So we've come a long way. We're being a bit too complacent, yeah, but we just want a European tour.
Is it too much to ask?
What we're asking for. It's too much to ask. Yeah.
Is that all we want? It'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? If it presented to you, it would be. Now look, naturally, Dan. Look, at the end of the day, we would come off a disappointing result. It is what it is. I'm sure we'll go to the end of the season and we'll be able to reflect a little bit more positively and pick some of the great stuff that we've done. But they've got to pick themselves up. They've really got to pick themselves up going into that West Brom game. And I'm not talking just in terms of the result. I'm talking in terms of the performance. Fresh ideas, impetus, intensity.
Take it to them. Yeah, take it to them.
Exactly. That's what we want to see. And I hope that with fans back in the ground for Southampton, that they do feed off that a little bit as well. If they need that to get them over the line, so be it. But I want to see a response. I really want to see a bit of, this is our chance here to confirm it. It's still relatively speaking in our hands. Go and do it.
Yeah, no, you should be looking to put 4 or 5 past West Brom, because it's a game where they're on the beach. They've got Matis Pereira's their best player. So if you keep him quiet, for me, you're onto a winner. But yeah, go out and express yourselves, and then give yourself a massive boost and a platform to go into the Southampton game with fans behind you and go, we can finish 6th today. West Ham in the Premier League finishing 6th. Get Europe next season. Get these key players in that we need, by the way. Not want, we need them. And then see where we can go next year. But tonight, fair play to Brighton, mate. I thought they did well. They obviously beat Leeds last home game as well. Sorry, Tim, but yeah, they did.
They don't care. They've just spanked Burnley 4-0, haven't they? So.
Oh no, yeah, they were top class today. To be fair, very good. Leeds have been a top outfit this season. So yeah, but Brighton did well today. They're a difficult team to play against. We know that for sure because we've still not beaten them in the Prem. But next season, maybe next season we can do one on him. So
that'll be our trophy, wouldn't it? When we beat Brighton, we'll be having a party when we finally do one on them. But they are a good side. But
you got to think next season, Basuma won't be there. Basuma will go in the summer. Trossard, I think, is a very good player as well. I think he'll probably go. I wouldn't have minded him for West Ham, actually. They'll lose a few key players. I think they'll be near the relegation for the next season if they lose these key assets. But the thing is, as well, they're a very good forward-thinking club. That Casado's come in. I think they think he's a replacement for Bissouma in a few years. So, Graham Potter's doing a really good job there. Fair play to them. They matched us tonight.
Yeah, you got to give them credit, and they could have easily not turned up. To be honest, I know they're safe and there's nothing to play for, and they still gave it a bit of a bash, and again caused us loads of issues. But on that dour note, we will end it there. It was 1-1, West Ham Brighton. We've got 2 games left, which means you've got a week left of pre-match content, which is a sad thing. I've done it for a while now. Me and Dan have been kicking around doing this stuff, and it's all sort of drying out. But we may have a Euro-themed league on the way. So keep your fingers crossed, because it will be coming up.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, I'll do loads of stuff anyway, pre-match for England. And of course, naturally, me and Dan will try and get some talk shows in. And when in the sort of down season, we'll do transfer rumours, etc., like we touched on tonight. Obviously, we do need a slight overhaul, or at least a couple of decent additions to the side. So I'm sure there'll be loads of rumours bouncing around. And then, Dan, you'll be returning on Tuesday, and I've put it on you on this show, but you'll come back on Tuesday, and then I'll get you back on Thursday, and that'll be you done for the season. Well done, my friend, for getting through it.
I'll be back for the Euros and all that as well. As long as you need me, mate, wherever you want, I'll be there. So, but as long as we finish above Spurs, that's all that matters. I'm happy with that. So, above the Spuds.
Above the Spuds, they can do one. Right, I'll end it there. Try and enjoy your weekend, West Ham fans. I know it's going to be a tough one, but it's a horrible game of football, isn't it? And listen, we'll be back for loads more pre-match stuff, so don't you worry. Take care, everybody. Speak shortly.